Welcome to the Women of Tantra. This is a podcast giving you the knowledge to go deeper into this field. Today, joining me is Arja Hendrikx, the founder with Amanda Bikram at the Temple of Radiance. She is a powerful speaker, a community leader, and a dear friend. We've co-collaborated over the years, doing things that bring deeper connection. I've seen so many people around me transform their lives. Thank you, Aria, for being with us and helping women and men. But I think there's a little more focus on women. Come into their power, find their centers, find sexuality. Today, we're going to explore some topics. And I just want to ask you, how did you get here? How did you get to a place that people are coming week by week? You're filling up workshops, speaking around the world, you're at festivals, and you are building the Tantric Village. It was a long road.
And every step has been incredibly worth it. I'll become a Tantra facilitator and guide women into their sexuality and connect with spirit and bring more depth and intimacy. It really evolved over time. After graduating university, I didn't went the normal route of I'm gonna find a job and build a house, get married and get a dog. I had this feeling there's something more to life. I'm not ready yet to go into that route. I really felt excited to travel and explore the world. Initially, that was about exploring the outer world, until I arrived at a community for permaculture and yoga. But that community appeared to be tantric. The moment I arrived there were women living in such connection with their body that I suddenly realized how disconnected I was, how brainwashed I was by society to be functioning like a man. Cut off from my feelings, cut off from my emotions. I had birth control, so I didn't even have a menstrual cycle. That was cutting me off from what actually makes me feel like a woman. My eyes opened that I felt so disconnected from nature, being really in this body, and I was just running an autopilot, following what society told me to do. Study, be a good girl, behave. Until I was traveling the world, I'm like, wow, these people are living so different. And it started to confirm, there's something more to life. Tantra didn't start with sexuality like it did for many people. It started with this inquiry. I am disconnected from my body. I don't feel like a woman. Spirit started opening for me. I started with Tantra not through a workshop, not through a training, not through, oh my God, my sex life is shit, I want to have better lovemaking, but it really came to me, I can live life more meaningful. This is how I started. The moment I began with Tantra, after about a year, I realized there's a whole part of sexuality. Tantra gives such a different view to many aspects of life and sexuality that I never heard of. The moment I started to look really honest at my sexuality, in my mind, I thought my sex life was amazing. I was the perfect performer. I would sound sexy. I would move sexy. I would look sexy. I would act sexy. I would make sex entertaining and fun. But I didn't realize I was just trying to mask all my own insecurities around how vulnerable I felt being naked, being seen. I was such a pleaser. What does he like? What is he enjoying? I was not connected to my body at all. After a few minutes of penetration, I would have pain. My yoni would be so sore. Then he ejaculates because guess what? Then I'm a great lover. The lovemaking is over. My sex life is so great. When I started to hear Tantra's like hours of lovemaking, who wants that? It seems horrible to me because after a few minutes, I have pain or I would get bored. I started to discover that sexuality in Tantra looked very different than the sexual imprints I received from society. I started to discover it's not about how good it looks, but how good it feels. This opened a whole world for me.
Who was Arja before this stage in your life?
Performing, pleasing, not in touch with my feelings, freezing. I would freeze a lot. And I was wearing the mask of I'm the good girl. I always feel great. Everything is fine for me. And even though there was a level of confidence and empowerment, because I was traveling alone in the world as a strong, independent woman, I was very disconnected from myself. I didn't realize that until I started Tantra. And it's been a very fulfilling path, but really challenging because it required me to look at myself in ways that I never even questioned.
And now who is she? Who is Arya?
She's a woman that is in touch with her body, that listens, feels connected to something so much greater, that has this deeper trust in life and this connection with the mystery and the magic and the appreciation of life. Just a lot of life force moving to build and manifest the life of my dreams. It doesn't mean that life isn't challenging. I feel everything even more. Instead of hiding my feelings and acting like life is fine, now it's okay. I became more sensitive and more aware, but in all the levels. So I would say I'm much more in touch with myself. This isn't just about my personal journey, but something bigger. All of us can make these shifts in our personal spiritual transformation. That's what feels most alive right now.
And if someone's listening says, I want that for me, how long is it going to take them? You've been on this path for 16 years, right?
Yes. This is important for anyone that feels the calling, that's already on this path. I want to start hosting workshops. You first need to have gone through the journey yourself. I started 16 years ago. I've been facilitating for about 9 years.
I went to a Tantra class and it was someone that had gone to 2 classes and was now teaching it. And I was like, this is terrible. Someone says, that's the path for me. How do they get there? How long is it going to take?
It depends how committed you are, how full on you are, how self-aware you are. The benefit right now is that we've paved a path for others that it doesn't have to take so long. Every time people come in my trainings, I've studied in so many different places around the world. I've practiced for so many years. I'm cutting their time short by delivering everything that works and that has worked for me. Instead of them having to figure out, okay, which teacher should I go to or what are the practice that works, I've given them all the things that have worked for me. I feel like my students go on this short track. I've seen women transform in a few months. A year later, they are a completely different person. Even within 1 week, I've had a woman that came in the first day. At the end of the evening, she was crying on the couch. And she's like, I don't think I should be here. 3 days later, we had a practice where she was taking all the attention, dancing, empowered, confidence shining, and my mouth dropped. I'm like, is that the same woman that was crying 4 days ago on the couch, saying that she doesn't think she's in the right place? And that is how fast it can go. For the start, for it to be integrated and embodied, like, yes, it's a lifelong journey. For myself, it never stops. I can continue to expand, but especially women, I've seen them change really fast. Within 1 year of really good practice, women can really start to feel that confidence, empowerment, and depth.
I know for me, even a 1 week retreat can have massive shifts. I remember in New York, there was a lot of these really fancy sex parties, and I was part of this kinky club. I'm a curious person, so I like to go deep into it and see what's here. Then I usually come out and bring a few pieces of that with me, integrate it. I started hearing about the Tantra. I went to this 2 or 3 hour Tantra. This is interesting. And I took a couple more in New York. I was like, I want to go deep. Where do I find this? I was asking around, and this is about 6 or 7 years ago. And I kept hearing about this thing called ISTA, level 1. I looked at the website and I was like, I don't understand a single thing this website says. I now know why that is. I show up and I was like, I'm going to become this amazing lover. A few hours in, I'm getting nude in front of my peers for the very first time and freaking out about it. They start talking about shadow tracking. finding your shadow patterns and looking for them. And when they happen, instead of just falling into the hole, avoiding them. I realized that my pattern was going into social situations, getting the attention of the most beautiful, intelligent, sexy, amazing woman in the room, getting her to like me and want to be physical with me, or creating that sexual energy. And then that would validate me, because if she wants me, then I must be this incredible man. I had the attention of Hannah Lou, and we were coming, it was getting a little kissy. And halfway through the day, I went to her and I was like, this is my pattern. Hannah, I need you not to give me any attention, because this is my pattern. That's the way to support me. Instead of trying to be this amazing lover, I was only engaging with people during the exercises. It was an emotional intelligence boot camp. I released shame, pain and trauma on my circumcision, comfortability with nudity, comfortability with just being present with someone, getting out of my head. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I was in an insane asylum. And because it's a different form of, it's more of a neo-tantra than what you do. I went back to my ex-wife, rekindled that relationship to start the healing process, and just apologized. Now we're good friends. It all came from doing 1 week of this. For those listening, even a little bit can go a long way and really help you. At least it did for me. I did the level 2 of Vista. It wasn't as powerful for me. Imagine a line with a triangle. The line is your alignment, and the side of the triangle is where you are in your alignment journey. The further you are from your journey, the more transformational experiences you're going to have. The closer it gets, it's actually not a triangle because you never actually hit your alignment. It's kind of more logarithmic. The farther up you are, the smaller the transformations. If you're new on your journey, you can go to one of these week-long things and your whole world changes.
Absolutely.
Doing retreats and alignment, people shift their entire careers. They shift their entire relationships. What are the shifts that you're seeing in the people that you're working with?
That people stop pleasing. That's a big one. People really start choosing themselves. This attitude of pleasing happens in the way society has been shaped. The number one result I see from my trainings is they walk out feeling so much more confident. The number one comment I get is, wow, you just gave a permission slip. Seeing you and hearing your journey, I can do the same. I have the confidence to make changes in my life so that I'm gonna show up more focused on me in a way that's empowering. It's empowerment. They feel so much more empowered. Stop pleasing. Walk out with a boost of confidence. Often when we're at events, friends of mine are like, especially men, they can tell, I can pick out the women that have trained with you because they have a glow, they're radiant, the way they're dancing, moving, how self-assured they are. These are the biggest results that I see in both men and women. But I work slightly more with women than with men.
If there was one practice that if you did it and it was broadcasted to every human on earth, they would get it. They instantly would embody whatever it is from that practice. But you could only pick one that's a powerful one, right? That you're like, if you do, this is going to impact your life. You don't have to go through every step of it, but just in general, if you could have a microphone that was broadcasted to every human on earth and give them an exercise or some knowledge from your teaching, and whatever you gave them, they would get it and embody it. Do you have something that you would share with people?
I notice, I feel closing the eyes, tracking the body, and naming what is there. We live in a society that is so rushed, so focused on pleasing others, on saying yes. Often, people don't feel empowered because they're not connected to what they really want. They're not connected to their yes, and often they're not connected to their no. So in any situation, if you want to bring the power back to yourself, you can do this in the bedroom. You're in the middle of an interaction. It doesn't feel so good. Instead of staying quiet and just wishing for the moment to pass, I notice that I feel a little contracted. And I would really love to feel more connected with you. I notice there's some tightness in my chest. Can we just pause and take a breath for a moment? That's such a beautiful way, instead of just freezing and letting happen whatever happens. If you're in a conversation and your boss is like, hey, can we pause for a moment? I notice it feels really overwhelming and I can't actually be present. If you're with your partner and things get a little heated, can we pause for a moment? I notice I need to take a breath and connect with myself before I can continue. This practice of pausing is so empowering because it takes a moment, bringing the power back to you, and then I can speak from a place of confidence. This is a simple practice to start taking more charge over your life. You can use it in any situation, in the bedroom, at work, with family. It's a powerful practice to learn how to pause. I bring the power back to me. If there is awareness to do some somatic tracking, which is feeling what's happening inside of yourself, then you bring so much more awareness to your own body.
It happened to me last night. I was on a date and she started to tell me that she had spoke to someone and I noticed that I was contracting. I said, I'd love to take a second and share. I'm noticing I'm contracting. I actually just need a couple minutes to feel into why. It ended up being a beautiful conversation. She's gonna feel that. We feel that in each other so deeply. This comes back to one of my pillars, which is aligned communication. Communication is really the forefront to even sexuality. I have a framework called RMSL, which is relationship, meaning, sexual health, and ends with your likes, your dislikes. Everyone thinks it's some kinky thing, and it's really just a communication framework, which is extremely useful. Being able to speak when you need a pause, when penetration's hurting, or maybe it's too fast, or there wasn't a foreplay, or maybe they're doing something because they saw that in a porn. No judgment if anyone likes that. The judgment is, are you allowing the things into your sexuality that are aligned with the things that you truly want? And how do we communicate those to our lovers, to our partners? I feel so important. I love that you actually chose a communication one.
Communication is the foundation of it, right? Before we can even go there, if it needs to be accessible to everyone, the first thing we need to change is our communication. With that, you bring all the responsibility back to yourself. There's this quote that I love. If someone makes love with me, I am responsible for how they are treating my body, for what I'm involving with. I'm responsible if they're moving too fast, penetrating too soon, too hard. I'm responsible to speak up and say something about that. I am responsible for the quality and the depth of my lovemaking. If I want deeper intimacy, or I want them to go down on me, but I don't ask for it, that's my responsibility. This is one of the biggest things I do in my trainings. I stop making it about them. The number one things that I hear when people come in my trainings is they complain about the other. But what about you? How, again, it's like self-empowerment. How can you bring it back to you?
You are not responsible for anyone's lovemaking unless they're making love to you. That's a powerful statement. It goes into taking ourselves out of the victim mentality and putting ourselves into an empowered mentality, and not standing for things that are outside of our alignment and our desires. We can just stop and communicate. What I love, and for those coming from the masculine, it's very crucial to hear it a certain way from a woman. I shut down when a woman is like, I don't like that, you're doing it wrong. I feel disempowered, distrusted. When a man feels distrusted, he's out. Men do not play games that they know they can't win. So as soon as they feel like they can't win or that they've lost, they stop trying. If you're a woman out there and wondering why he's not showing up for you, that might be something to own. I love you to start licking my inner thighs really slowly. I love you to kiss the back of my neck. not telling me what they don't want, but telling me what they want. I'm like,
Yes.
great, I would love to do that to you. Or I might say, no, that's not what I feel right now, or maybe later. Just having the opportunity to hear the desires of the other person, and it doesn't mean we need to fulfill all of them. It just means listening and feeling like, yeah, that sounds great. But we should try to stay away from negative talk, especially when it comes to sexuality. Let's say you're using your fingers to rub a yoni. She's like, I don't like that. Now she's wondering why 4 years later you never touch her there. And it's like that gets imprinted. When in reality, it might be, it was just too hard at that moment. I would love if it's lighter, if it's slower. That communication and how we approach that. I'm just speaking from the masculine, like how important it is to feel that encouragement of like, you're doing great. You're an amazing lover. When you hear that, you puff up and you actually become a better lover. I love when you're so present with me. I notice how you just hold me and look into my eyes and tell me how much you love me and how much you care for me. And you've just been showing up and taking care of me financially. Man, that feels great. That makes me feel sexy.
That's the baseline from where intimacy, lovemaking, connection can go so much deeper. If I cannot speak about sexuality, if I cannot speak about my desires and my needs, then how can I really use lovemaking as a gateway to higher consciousness if I can't even talk about it? That's where Tantra takes us. If I can't speak up, even in the moment, then how can my body become this incredible portal? This is the first baby step in order to open up to a world that's so much more magical and bigger.
What does that mean, Aria? Lovemaking is a gateway to higher consciousness. So what does that really mean? Break it down for me.
That might sound like something that's really far away. Like, yes, in the tantric text it's written that lovemaking from sex to super consciousness. Everyone has experienced this when they've had an orgasm. The moment you go into orgasm, the mind stops. The body lights up. There's this incredible pleasure that happens. The body, the mind, the soul, everything is present in the now. In that moment of orgasming, you're not worrying about your bank account or what you need to do tomorrow. In that moment, literally, like the frontal part of the brain stops producing thoughts. This is measured in MRI scans. Over 30 different parts of the brain light up in orgasm. The whole body is activated in this super delicious, ecstatic feeling. How long does the orgasm last?
For a man, few seconds. I can get mine a lot longer now, but it's short. We know through neuroscience that which fires together wires together. And this happens in psychedelics. We can also measure this in MRIs. Lots of parts of the brain communicating with each other, which allows for more expanded thoughts. It allows for our ego center of self-identification to slow down and shut down so we can feel a larger presence with the universe. I know this happens in psychedelics, and you're saying the orgasm is doing the same thing.
In Tantra, there are practices to prolong orgasm. Flexibility is a side effect, but yoga was initially meant as a connection where your body, again, becomes a portal and I'm coming in more contact with my body. Sexuality is the same. So the orgasm is the portal. There are practices to prolong that, not to be more orgasmic and just have more pleasure. These states of orgasm are prolonged so that you can stay longer in that altered state of consciousness that the brain moves into. Profound transformation happens. Just like people that do a trip with medicine, they have profound insights because they go into this altered states of consciousness. And then they integrate it in their life and are like, wow, after that journey, I actually made some important choices that changed my life. With lovemaking, it's the same. That feeling of expansion happens. It's like an altered state of consciousness that opens up where there is an experience of, oh, wow, what I'm experiencing now feels more true than when I'm in my ordinary state of consciousness. There starts to be this feeling that I am there. I feel a field around me. It's a direct experience of an altered state then this realization in the ordinary state is like, actually, I can trust because there is a bigger field here that holds me. There is more trust, there is more relaxation, there starts to be more freedom, more expansion. And eventually that gateway isn't something that's only a peak experience in lovemaking. In short moments of life, I can feel that opening to consciousness as well.
The more orgasms you have, the higher the likelihood of higher consciousness. Please tell your husbands, wives, partners, honey, I would like to expand my consciousness.
Obviously, there's more to it.
It takes me to many years ago, I heard this thing called sex magic. Started researching this, and there wasn't a lot of information online. My partner and I made up our own ritual. I was like, I'm going for it. I want $10,000. I'm going to sex magic this. Part of this process is focusing on it, writing on a piece of paper, making love and keeping that idea of desire to put out into the world. It's a manifestation practice. As you're orgasming, you're screaming out the thing that you want, right? 2 days later, $15,000 from a place that I would never expected. Didn't make any sense. This stuff is crazy. It's super interesting because the more our brain and the different parts are connecting with each other and we get into the resonance of our desire and we're more tuned into the oneness of the universe. I'm not talking about hippie religion. I'm talking about there is absolutely a resonance that we are giving off mentally in energetic fields that are electromagnetic in vibration, that quantum physics can measure, and that actually attracts things. Sex is horrible for me. I always have the wrong partners. What do you think you're attracting, right? And so part of manifestation, the practice, is getting into that. Something that I am remembering is the sex magic practice. Have you ever tried this?
Absolutely.
Can you tell, what is it? How do you do sex magic?
The essence of this is that lovemaking is centered around an intention. If from now onwards you start setting intentions for your lovemaking may change just by that for the rest of your life. Hey, love, I would love to make love with you. And this is my intention for our lovemaking today. That is a mini piece of sex magic that you can already do. Even if you're like, I'm not interested in sex magic, but I'm interested in creating more depth and connection. How amazing is it when your lovemaking is actually intentional? Sexual energy is energy. Even science has affirmed that matter and energy are the same thing. In the moment of orgasm, the energy neutralizes in the body. We work a lot with polarity, like solar and lunar, plus and minus.
I call it yin and yang.
Yin and yang. In the moment of orgasm, the body becomes neutralized. The energy becomes a seat. Everything is in complete balance, complete harmony. This is why the body starts experiencing orgasming. Now that energy is completely neutral. If it's neutral, I can put it to anything. I have this super powerful energy, which is my life force energy, the energy that gave birth to you, to me, to all of you listening. It's literally the energy that creates life. If I put another intention in it, it can create anything. This is how sex magic works. In that moment of orgasm, the energy turns neutral, yin and yang are balanced, it becomes a seed. And with the power of my mind and my conscious intent, I now give a purpose to that energy. It's like, I want $10,000 in my bank account. And now this energy starts working in this universe that works in mysterious ways that goes way beyond what our mind can understand. This is how sex magic works in its essence. It's a seed energy. The best way you can start with it is from now onwards, start setting intentions with your lovemaking.
If you want $10,000 through making love, use the power of sex magic.
And this is really important. Don't make it goal-orientated again. Lovemaking isn't meant to perform, isn't meant to have a goal, but it's an invitation. This is our lovemaking. We're gonna make love. It's an energy that's so beautiful, so sacred, so powerful that it can create babies. It can turn from energy into physical human babies. By us making love, we invite this intention to be manifested. We're going to offer our hearts, our body, our mind, our lovemaking. If Grace wants this intention to be manifested, if that feels in my highest alignment, there is a detachment from that as well. It's not like, now this needs to happen, because then we're back to cool performance-based lovemaking.
Manifestation doesn't work when the desire is from a mimetic desire, meaning you want it because somebody else wants it. When we manifest, we need to manifest from our truest desires, whether that's a partner or money or a job. It can't be this like, I'm going to manifest this Rolex. The intention of manifestation is to get the thing that you truly desire from the universe. The way that I see it is we are inside a greater orgasm that wants us to be healthy and is trying to keep us alive and give us everything we need to thrive. We can be healthy in other parts of the body we are inside of, this organism or universe or God consciousness or whatever you want to call it. It could be a hologram. My current thought is that we are inside something. Everything is whole. Part of that is the connection. Our sexual energy is literally creative energy. Did you know that when a sperm enters an egg, a flash of light happens and scientists have no idea how or why? At the moment of conception, there's a flash that they can measure. Under microscopes, you can look this up. That's interesting to me. And that just shows the power of our sexual energy and reproduction. I've met some women that have done a lot of Tantra, and they're at a place where they'll turn their noses up on a quickie with their partner. Tantra is sacred lovemaking. You can have a quickie in the morning with your lover.
This is a very important part of what I teach. In Tantra, I want to practice tantric sexuality. I need to have a healthy relationship with sexuality. Can I see sexuality as something sacred? Otherwise, I create a judgment, a quickie, more primal lovemaking or kinky lovemaking. No, that's not tantric. But at the essence of Tantra, there's like sexuality. It's something so deep, so profound, so sacred. It's what happens inside of your body. I can have wild lovemaking and still be praying from inside and offering my energy up to something higher. And I can actually use the intention of the penetration to go even deeper into my body. From that place, manifest, pray, offer myself, open myself, expand myself. Especially during ovulation, my body is ready. Because I've trained my body for so long, my body doesn't need to warm up. Now it has such a healthy relationship with sexuality that my body opens up much sooner than that. Doesn't mean that I still love the long lovemaking and all the teasing and all the foreplay, but there's so many different ways we can make love. Consciousness and a different level of erotic energy that we can tap into in the lovemaking. Quickies are amazing because sometimes the days are full and busy. Do I then rather not make love because I want it to be for hours? I've had incredible deep experiences because my capacity to drop into my body now is so fast. It's about what is happening on the inside. And this is where tantric lovemaking goes much deeper.
You are building a village. Will you talk about this? A tantric village. And I've been doing community building for 30 years, and I got called to do another community here in Bali. Before I went and raised $12 million and did all the work and run a big construction project, I started asking around and seeing if there's anywhere to plug into. And Aria, you are one of the people that are building. It's not as much of an intentional community, but a village with intention, a retreat center. You're still going to have workshops and people coming through to experience and upgrade via Tantra and friends living next to each other.
It's a community hub, which means you don't have to live there to belong. You can come even once a year and have that community feeling. It's a community hub where people can pass by, even just for the day. It's a training center for those that really want to dive deeper into Tantra. They want to stay longer. They want to stay on site. They want to take a training for a weekend, for a week, for 3 weeks, for a month. They can stay and go really deep. And for those people like you and me that have felt this way of life just nourishes me so much. I want to have neighbors that are like-minded. I want to wake up in a field where everyone is really a leader of their life. It is a center for embodied leadership. And we see everyone that starts with Tantra and taking accountability for the depth and quality of their life as a leader. I want to live next to people that have the same mindset. How does your quality of life improve when you live to people that are actually living in the same depth and values as you? So it's a village, not a community. I choose to live next to these people, but we don't have shared kitchens and shared co-houses. Everyone has their own space, but lives with people that have the same mindset. If they want to plug into the community aspect of it, there is a community hub connected with it. And the reason why we're building this is I'm longing to live surrounded by people that also choose to live more connected to nature, more rest, more integrity, more intention, more depth. I don't only feel this longing inside of myself. I hear it everywhere around me that people are done with the fast culture, with the pressure from society. I actually want to live a different life, because let's be honest, if you come here, take a training and a workshop and you go back to New York or whatever, and you don't have people that are conscious and that are in the same way of viewing and living life, it's quite hard. So maybe after a certain point, you're like, actually, what would it be like if that would be my norm of living and that would be my standards? This is a place for people to come, drop in, stay for a while, maybe eventually even live and choose one of the homes, whether that's a few months a year or the entire year.
I know a lot of people listening who are hearing Tantric Village are just being like, cult, they're all going to fuck each other.
No.
And it's interesting because sometimes in communities this happens when people come into power. That power can be used in manipulative or negative ways. For someone that has been close to you, I've seen you in complete integrity, not only with your participants. It doesn't mean I haven't seen mistakes made. It just means you are there, you're vulnerable, you're honest, you're doing your best and not trying to abuse or take advantage of them, but really provide something that feels really beautiful. If you're interested in being part of this project or investing in this project, you have a application on your website?
Yes.
Okay, thetempleofradiance.com. If you try the sex magic practice and it works, please send it to us.
Let us know what you manifested.
If you want to take an in-person training, thetempleofradiance.com, you can find /events. And do you have online things that people can do also?
So for anyone that can't make it to an in-person training, we have an online membership. So you can start from the comfort of your own home. It's me and Amanda teaching in there, but also our facilitators. We have a facilitator training where we educate women that feel really transformed by Tantra and feel this calling to serve others. They are also teaching inside our online membership, and in our Future Retreat Center, they will also be hosting trainings.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Arja Hendrikx, we love you. Thank you. If you like this, we have some incredible other Tantra teachers who have been doing this for a very long time. I have other podcasts. The Connection's a beautiful one if you want to get into your alignment in many different ways in your career, in your businesses. I have another one on community building if you're interested in building communities, which is something I've been doing for 30 years. And for me, everything needs to be practical, and hopefully this is practical. TheConnectionMap.com, many free tools on communication that we talk about today, and some free courses I'd love to gift you guys. Thank you. Have a beautiful night.